Yo, what's good? It's me, your guy, all the way from Bed-Stuy, Habo, and we are here for a recap of the AfroVisionaries art crawl. It's a vlog. I guess that's what it's called. I don't really know the terminology, but we're here anyway, and I wanna say thank you, big thank you to the AfroVisionaries, all the black women that showed up and showed out. Yo, I'm in such a vibrant mood, like nothing is fazing me right now. What happened on Saturday was nothing short of phenomenal, nothing short of spectacular, nothing short of amazing. And we went to the Chelsea Art District. And if you're not familiar with this space, it's about maybe 2 to 3 blocks, a couple of blocks of art galleries up and down the street. Just every door is an art gallery, which is dope. I wish we had something like this in Bed-Stuy, and that's a topic for another video. But yeah, I love that whole vibe, you know, just being able to go into a space. And most of the gallery, all of them are free, so you just go in there and you know, walk around. Some of them are like, hey, don't bring no cameras, but it's cool. So we went to Philippe Lebon, Gagosian, Princeton in New York, and I can't remember the name of the last one. Funnily enough, last year around this time, I went to Philippe Lebon for Mike Mignola's exhibition, and I didn't realize it was also around the same time this year that I was going back. So when I went, I'm pretty sure he recognized me immediately when I like greeted him, and it was like, hey, I got a group of people in here. He was just really kind. Like Philippe is extremely passionate about comic art. What's great about his gallery and his space is that it's specifically geared towards comic book art, which is something that you don't see commonly in the art scene that's celebrated in this way. And come to find out, he's on the board for the Society of Illustrators. Crazy. So to clarify really quickly, the Society of Illustrators has a museum uptown around, like, I think 53rd Street, and it's a museum dedicated to comic book and cartoon art, which is, again, something very rare that we don't see. So the fact that he's on the board is even just, wow, like mind-blown moment type of vibe, right? Anyway, Philippe was kind enough to give the AfroVisionaries a tour of the space. We were seeing the work of Frank Cho, who you may know from Marvel, DC, and Image Comics. He's also done some work for video games. I did see some illustrations from Resident Evil 8 or 7, whichever Resident Evil had the giant vampire lady in it. That's where his character designs were from. And as I said, I think I mentioned this already, there's a extreme level of passion that Philippe exudes when discussing the work. And I actually have a clip queued up that you can see, because he gave us a full tour, and it lasted for about maybe like 15 minutes, where he went into details about the style, technique, and the history of Frank, and was so kind enough to show us some work in the back as well, which I believe I mentioned too. Now, that video, I think what I'll do is make a separate video for that, like a companion piece to this video. So if you're interested in seeing that full 15 minute presentation, it's going to be linked in the description or tagged in the video or something like that.
Comic books. Absolutely, this is a very well-known cover for Birds of Prey, which was a very well-known comic books where everybody is there, from all the big women are there, and this is very, very well-known covers. But what I want to try to tell people is that there is so much technique in doing that, okay? Okay, you can think, well, I don't want Batman on my... I understand that, I have no problem with that. But respect the fact that those guys can draw, because nobody can draw.
There are not many gallery spaces or museums where the owner or director will give you a first-hand tour of the space. So I want to reiterate how thankful I am to Philippe for doing that for the AfroVisionaries. And if you are in the city, if you're in the Chelsea Art District, please go pay his gallery a visit, because what he's doing is integral to uplifting comic art, which is a legitimate form of art, contrary to many people's beliefs. But definitely go check him out. The Frank Cho exhibition is on until October 25th, so you have some time. There's still plenty of time to go see it, so go check that out and say hello. Oh yeah, real quick before we transition to the next gallery spaces, before I had even arrived on the scene at Chelsea Art District, I was trying to do something at home. I was trying to draw a dozen of these, And what happened was I was pressed for time. It was a very busy week. It was my birthday week, so there was tons of stuff going on. So I didn't really have too much downtime because I was just moving. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to draw these two. Whoever comes first, they get this, and that's it. So shout outs to Rolake and Dominique for being the first two there. They received what I'm going to be calling as of right now the AfroVisionary. That's the character. I do plan on putting this on a pin, so that way, we'll have something to like identify ourselves with when people show up. And I'll just give those out for free, maybe to people that arrive to the events on time, whatever. So working on that right now. That's a project I'm actually working on today, and hopefully I'll have that up and out before our next meetup. So after we peaced out from Philippe, we walked directly across the street. Almost got hit by a car backing up that didn't even care that black women was crossing the street. Crazy how this world works, right? We went over to Print Center, New York to see Data Consciousness Reframing Blackness in Contemporary Print. And this was truly an amazing experience. Probably one of the best exhibitions we saw the entire day. Everything that we went to was fantastic, but this one really resonated with the group. I'm going to read some copy off the site here, just to give you a little bit of context of what this is about. So, Data Consciousness Reframing Blackness in Contemporary Print brings together work by Black contemporary artists who explore expanded modes of printmaking to question the complex interplay between race, technology, and representation in our increasingly data-driven world. So it features work from a whole bunch of artists, and everything here is it's beautiful, visually striking, for sure. And then as you engage with it closer, you really get to see what's going on, as there's so many charts, graphs, and infographics and photographs that visualize Black life here in America specifically. And there was one that was like Black migration to the US that demonstrated the graph for that. It shows all these lines coming from the mother continent over to the others, like America. Well, that's what it was for, to the US. So yeah, you had that. There was another one I saw that displayed the amount of Black children that went to public school versus charter and private. And I honestly wish I had more time with it. We had other places to go, but the main thing was I was also filming and taking photographs, so I wasn't really able to absorb everything like everyone else did. And let me tell you, they were glued to this. So the feedback that I got, or what they were talking about, a lot of the group truly resonated with this, or the exhibition resonated with them. I got to interact with one object. It was the turntable, the AR experience, similar to, if you're familiar with Radio Garden, the website where you point on a map and it plays radio from whatever place you land on. So like you can scroll all the way to Zimbabwe, and then it'll play music, the radio stations from Zimbabwe, like live, which is cool. So it's a similar concept. You use an iPad to swipe across the globe, and whatever data center or data point that you click on, it plays music from that area. So I thought that was pretty cool. That was the only thing that really got to interact with. So I definitely plan to go back. I want to go back just on my own, so I can really sit with everything like everyone else was able to. But here's a quick clip from Mary, one of the attendees, who is an amazing artist and activist, environmentalist. So check out what she has to say.
Yeah, there's a lot of data in the world as we are working through our understandings of our identity, what we're building, and how we're working and coming together. And I think data visualization is just a beautiful way of being able to tell that story so that it translates to people in ways that connects to them and places them in this moment in time, and really tells a story of where we're going, what has happened, and where we could be going in the future. So I've just been really impressed by all the different things that they have in here, from homeownership to charter school, public school rates, to even the amount of Black bookstores that are in the country, in a really just visual way of telling the story. So it connected with my understanding as my creative medium as both a climate and environmental organizer and a performing artist. And so I just really enjoyed this exhibition a lot.
This video is brought to you by the generous contributions of viewers like you. Head over to patreon.com/habtunes for more details and consider joining today for just $1 a month. But after that, we went right across the street. No, did we go? Matter of fact, no, I think we went to Gagosian right after that. And Gagosian had a really interesting exhibition on, and I didn't prep this. I'm looking it up now. All right, yeah, so they had a really interesting exhibition from Nathaniel Mary Quinn, who at the time, as soon as we came in, we didn't know who the artist was. We just saw the work because there was nothing displayed. So that's one thing I will say. If I had to review each gallery space, which I probably should do, that's something I should do. That would be an interesting video. If you want to see reviews for gallery spaces, let me know, because I'd be down to do that. When you walk in, typically you'll have the front desk and they'll have some printed copy for you to read, about the exhibition, about the artist and whatnot. They didn't really have that there. I don't think they had any paper at the front at all. Because when you walk in, you just go, the way it's designed, you just go straight into the gallery after that little lobby space. So we walk in and we're seeing all these bizarre, surreal, Dali-esque type illustrations of these paintings. And they have these prominent black features. And I'm like, what is going on here? And we all was looking at each other like, every single person was like, is the artist black? So I had to go back to the front. I was like, is there anything y'all can provide to talk about the artist or gives us some information? And there was a QR code on the side. I'm like, that's not really accessible. I mean, I'm sure people who love being on their phones like that, but what about folks that don't? What about folks that don't use their phones or don't have a fancy phone or don't have a phone at all? You should have some form of information outside of just a digital space. So let's have a balance here, guys. Let's do better on that. But the exhibition as a whole, very unique, not as intriguing or as prominently resonating. That's the word I'm looking for. It didn't really stick immediately, as opposed to Print Center's exhibition, but the work was cool. As a character artist myself, or character designer, especially working on things that are based in horror and abstract surrealism, it was interesting to look at and kind of see where this artist was going with some of these designs. I don't know. I'm losing my words here, because I'm still trying to figure out what the hell is going on. It wasn't bad, but it also was just, it was different. I like different, but it was just, I think maybe some more context coming into it would have been better, maybe, but I don't know. It didn't really, I think the general consensus with the group is that it was cool, but it was just okay, the technique, the style, the work was, great. I'm not saying they're saying the work was bad. It's just maybe the theme that was on display, or whatever it was trying to portray, it just wasn't hitting. So the work was fantastic. I just want to clarify that the work is fantastic, but the overall theme, the overarching theme, the vibe, the aesthetic, the feeling of it as a cohesive exhibition just wasn't landing where I wanted it to, or what we expected it to be. Also, on that same note, the security guard, or whatever you want to call it, going mad hard about somebody trying to drink some water. I'm like, what are they going to do? Spit on the painting? I'm pretty sure somebody tried to do that. And I get it, but like, damn, we left immediately after that. It just felt stuffy in there. It felt stuffy. So if I had to rank it out of BBs, I would give it 3.5 out of 5 BBs. I feel like it didn't feel welcoming. I don't know. Something about that space was just ugh. I don't know if anyone else felt exactly like how I felt, but that's how I got. That's what I received. Okay, so these next two galleries, I'm not gonna hold you again, because I was so focused on filming and taking photographs and also making sure everybody was together and safe and walking together in the streets, because them people, listen, these cars don't care about nobody. But I ain't gonna hold you. I don't remember the name of the last two galleries we went to. One was directly across the street from Gagosian, and I'm trying to find it right now. I'm literally clicking. You probably can't hear it, but I'm literally clicking, and I'm like, where was this thing at? I want to say Lincoln Glen. I think it was Lincoln Glen, and this was a small space. And in this exhibition, it was a lot of large, abstract paintings. A lot of these pieces here were selling for quite a good chunk of change. The one, I think the biggest piece that sold was almost almost $250,000. I think if I had to go back a little bit too, at Philippe Lebon, I think some of the work there was selling for about 20,000, maybe 5,000 and 20,000. You know, so it's y'all can make some money, man. I'm just letting y'all know, if you are artists and you get into these galleries, you can make some money for real. It's possible. We're not going to get into the details of that. That's a whole different discussion for a different day, but it's possible. Now, the next gallery, I do remember it was Anna Zorina. Anna Zorina, I've been there before. They usually have some really interesting work displayed there. A lot of very colorful and playful exhibitions. Excuse me. Colorful and playful exhibitions. What they had on view, I'm going to look up right now. I'm clicking through. Let me go and read this right now. Wonderful, fantastic. So what we had on display was Sujin Choi. I don't know if I'm saying their name correctly. If I am mispronouncing it, I do apologize. If anyone knows how to pronounce that properly, let me know in the comments. But either way, this exhibition is on until the 11th. Also, let me go back real quick. The Nathaniel Murray Quinn at the Ghostian is there till the 25th, October 25th. So there's plenty of time to see a lot of these exhibitions. I would highly recommend going on like an off day, because the weekend, I feel like, matter of fact, no, I ain't gonna lie. The weekend, we went on Saturday. It didn't even really feel that busy. There was people, but it wasn't like, oh my God, it's packed, it's wild, crazy over here. Like, nah, it was cool. But anyway, Anna Zorina Gallery, Sujin Choi. This exhibition was called A Distance for All, but a Distance for No One. And a lot of the work here was very playful. It kind of reminded me of, I guess, like classic 90s sculptures, evoking like a little bit of, I was getting like, not necessarily Keith Haring, but y'all remember like the Nickelodeon characters, which I think were designed by Keith Haring, actually, now that I think about it. But y'all remember that vibe. So the characters were contorted and twisted and wrapping around each other. There was a lot of emotion exuding from these characters, not in the facial expressions themselves, but the bodies. And there were paintings around as well. There were some huge murals on the wall depicting this journey from morning to evening. It was like this transition that the character was going through, and there was so much taken from this. I think there were some folks in the group that really enjoyed this. I liked it. I prefer, honestly, and y'all know this about me already, or most of y'all do, I prefer things with characters in them. I love character art, I love character design. So this was really cool to check out, and it gave me, and it's informing me on different ways we can represent a figure in just in art, because it's not just, oh, we can just draw something on paper. There's sculpture, there's alternative forms of materials to paint on, like tiles. They use some, I think, is this ceramic tiles and wood, you know? But no, this was dope. I would go back and see this again. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of focus on the work itself. I was just more trained on trying to get as much video and photo as possible, which I didn't even get that much of. So, ooh, look at that. But overall, I think all 4 galleries were really fun. I enjoyed each and every one. I enjoyed it especially because we were in a group, and I think that was the best part of the experience, to see the reactions from other people, to hear the perspectives of how they perceive the work and what stuck and resonated with them, to see folks be inspired and light up and think about what they can do next for one of their projects. Because that's how I felt when I saw Nathaniel's work. That's how I felt when I saw Sujin's exhibition. That's how I felt when I saw the data center. That's how I felt when I saw the work at Philippe Lebon, Frank Cho's. You know, everything was informing me into some next steps for certain projects that I'm working on right now. But yeah, all 4 galleries, overall the experience, I loved it. Everyone said they were enjoying themselves. We walked on over to Chelsea Market, and this is where I feel like I need to improve, because once we got to that space, it was kind of like hard to keep track of everybody. We were able to come back together again, but I think it was Dominique that told me to download an app called Partyful, because I need something to make sure that I can message folks if we're doing a mobile event, if we're moving from point A to point B, from place to place, because God forbid we all got lost, right? And everybody don't have my number, and I don't want, all of that to, not everybody wants to give someone their number. So, if I could find something, if this Partyful things work, or some other app or thing, I don't know why I stuttered on that, but if I can find something else that can help with that, that would be great. I think the thing for me that was amazing about the last 45 minutes or so of us hanging out before we parted ways was the conversation. Every single one of the attendees, every single one of these Black women, highly intelligent, highly expressive, and highly engaging in the conversations that we were having. And we were talking about everything from, obviously, from the Black art to the Black American experience, to talking about the economy and education failing and all these different things. It was just, I thrive off of that. I feel like I get charged with energy when I have good conversation with people. So that was, I think, the highlight for me. Outside of just going to the exhibitions and experiencing art with everyone, I think the highlight for me was just the conversations overall, especially near the end. So I'm excited for what's next. And I'm grateful to the AfroVisionaries. Y'all showed up, y'all showed out. I appreciate y'all for real. So the next event is going to be October 18th. That's Saturday, October 18th. We're going to Mokata. That's downtown Brooklyn. So come through, pull up if you can. I know the other exhibitions, we were all in the city in Queens, but now we're bringing it home. This is going to be our fourth event. So I'm excited for that. And this is great. This is fun. And I can't thank y'all enough. Okay. I cannot thank y'all enough. But yeah. Thank you for watching. If you were there, say hello in the comments. If you weren't there, say hello in the comments. And if you would like to come to the next one, say hello in the comments. Details for the RSVP and everything is in the description. So RSVP now, as soon as possible. And I will see y'all on the 18th. Deuces.